Coffee pairs well with the gospel, y'all. Today we're reading chapter 4 of Mark's gospel, a.k.a. Schoolhouse Jesus. So in chapter 4, we get the first batch of parables or the teachings of Jesus in Mark's gospel. We're a quarter of the way through, and this is when Jesus, or at least Mark, starts to record Jesus teaching. It's mentioned before the first 3 chapters that Jesus was teaching around places and healing as well, but this is the first time we get a batch of those teachings, and they're in the forms of parables. And parables are a bit of a catch-all term because they can be as short as one verse or can be a whole story about a situation. And we get both of those. We get the parable of the sower, which is told incomplete. It's a complete story, and then it's retold with an explanation to the disciples in private. And then we get these clump of cryptic parables as well. And then we end up with this story of Jesus being in the boat. They're crossing the Sea of Galilee, and a storm comes up, and he's asleep in the back. Now, this is interesting, I think, because in this story at the end, he's asleep in the back of the boat during the middle of the storm, and they wake him up. It says in verse 38, but he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Who is this? They're following this guy around. They've been named as the 12 apostles now. They're his inner circle. They've seen him heal. They've seen him teach. They've seen him draw these large crowds. They've seen him confront the Pharisees and the scribes and the Herodians and the powers that be. They've seen him claim the title of Caesar, the Son of God. He's claimed that royal title for himself. And yet they're asking, who then is this? They still don't know. And that's an interesting narrative thing because we have yet to have any one of the disciples or the apostles confess Jesus as the Messiah, have we? We haven't. Up until now, it hasn't happened. Anytime he casts out a demon and the demon starts to tell people who Jesus is, Jesus silences him, doesn't let him say it out loud. And here now, even the 12 have yet to say who Jesus is, confess who Jesus is. This is a characteristic of Mark's gospel, which is commonly known as the secret gospel of Mark. It's not that there's something secret to be deciphered or like the Da Vinci Code or any nonsense like that. No, what it's saying is that in the gospel, up to a certain point, Jesus doesn't let anybody tell or pronounce or proclaim him as the Messiah. And so let's keep that lens in our head as we continue to read. Why is Jesus keeping his identity a secret? Why are these 12 apostles, his closest inner circle, still questioning who he is? So that's chapter 4. We're a quarter of the way through the book. Good for you. Keep reading. Come back tomorrow. We'll hit chapter 5. And I hope you remember God loves you more than you can possibly imagine.